You are live. Oh, am I talking? No, you talk first, one. You're in the driver's seat, though.
Oh,
Shotgun.
I didn't realize that's where we were moving. So, okay. Hey, everybody, whoever's watching right now, nobody. The only body that's watching is, I can't do it, man. Oh, is this guy. So, everybody, thank you for watching. All one of you, not me just logging on. So, again, it's me, John Holland, and Daryl. Daryl needs to come on because he's always here. Thanks, Daryl. You're the reason we do this. As always, it's Jay, who really is the mastermind behind this, and the one and only Mikey Stark, and Daryl, he's like our secret partner.
Yeah.
One thing we have to do though is not talk about the Oilers.
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, I'm sure someone's gonna just throw a couple jabs at it. So I'll be ready. Don't worry.
Any Maple Leaf fans out there?
Oh, probably. Yeah.
Oh,
block
God,
him.
let's hope not. Exactly. Get out.
Insufferable whiner.
Oh, come on.
We look like those. Do you remember in Sesame Street where they used to do like one of those things is not like the other? We had the four squares. It's like one of these things. It's like three bald guys, and only one of them is not wearing a hat. Exactly. You remember, what was it like? Guess who? Like, okay, is he bald? Yes. Is he wearing a toque? No. Oh.
Well, I like your setup today, though. So, if you can explain what that thing is right there.
Oh, this guy? Okay.
Yeah.
This guy here. So I was working on the. It's a long story. When I was 21, I was working on a ship out of LA, and it was actually the time when the Rodney King riots were on. So I left to go on vacation to meet my family in Australia, and then the riots happened, and I was in Australia with my family, and we were seeing all these riots, and it's all going chaotic. And I saying to my mother and my family, like, "Oh, I go back there in 3 weeks. I'm going back on that ship." So anyway, so we all party, it's all going chaotic. I fly back to us, back to LA, join the ship. It's my 21st birthday. And if anybody ever knows, when you cross the international date line, you gain a day going one way. And then when you go back across the other way, you kind of lose a day. So anyway, I join the ship, and I go on, and I'm like, hey, guess what? It's my birthday, and we all like party, and I get really drunk, and we have a lot of fun. And they buy me this guy, and it's a Norwegian trawl. So I was on a Norwegian cruise line. So they gave me this two-headed one because I'm a Gemini. So they're like, oh, Gemini twins. And it kind of looks like it's holding a stick because I got dice a lot. So they're like, oh, yeah, get this. So I went out and partied and felt really, really great and had a great time. The following day, I wake up and I go into work and I get into a lot of shit. And my manager's like, you wrote down all the paperwork wrong. All the dates were wrong. You just messed everything up. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, today's date is the 1st. I'm like, what? I'm like, today's my birthday. I thought yesterday was my birthday. I completely messed my birthday and partied on the wrong day. So that's a constant reminder of how I was stupid one time and I forgot my date of birth and I forgot to change my clock, like with the date. So I celebrated my birthday on the wrong day. Oh, but the day of my birthday, I was so hungover, I couldn't drink at all. I was like, I couldn't do it. So it's like the worst birthday I've probably ever had on ships. The day before was awesome.
Oh God, I can't imagine trying to. I don't know. Back to back, I'm never good at like back to back days. I remember. I think we were all working together though, but there was one time at like BP's, and I told you like before my first birthday at Palace that I celebrated with people there. It was pretty crazy because like I flew up because I was still working at Reds. I wanted to impress my friends that I had like casino friends, and I was like cool, and then it was so embarrassing. I couldn't live up to it. The year after, we tried to do the same thing. And I went to Reds, and I actually did make it through. But then we went to BP's after, and at BP's. Oh my god, I was so done. They like they were giving me like they had like food and stuff, and it's oh yeah, I know, grab a bite. I'm like I'm trying to like eat. I couldn't even chew my food. I was so hammered, and it got to the point where I got so like I got so dizzy. Like you know, you put your head down, right, and you're like okay, and then you put it up, and it feels like this weight is just pushing against you. I'm like okay, I gotta throw up, and then I get up and I get to the bar, and I'm just like throwing up in my hand, and it's going all over the bar. I get to the washroom, and it was like bad. So I they're like he's gotta go. So then I ended up going home, and then like that was a Friday night. So then on the Saturday I go there, and then the bartender's like, "You better talk to Andrew because he was the guy that had to clean up your mess. You better apologize to him right now." I go to Andrew, he's like, "Nope, nope, don't talk to me right now. Nope." It's like I'm so sorry, but it's so embarrassing. Like by far, like the worst. So yeah, yeah, and I have a picture too, and yeah, I'll show it when we do our second season here. But yeah, definitely BP's.
There
Yeah,
was a lot of
That's
fun in
good.
BP's. I mean, like that short window of opportunity that we had. And that's when you used to try and get on the early out list, right? To go over there and kind of like, hey, let's just plow through the drinks as much as you can before, like, what was it, like 2 o'clock was like the last orders, but used to let us stay till 3, right?
yep, that's
Yep.
right. It's just because work said you guys aren't allowed to do that anymore. I think we went down to like a 2 drink maximum. So then people got mad about that, and then like so people would order 2 drinks, but then someone would like only have one. So then there's a lot of us that would just have one, and then other people would be like, "Okay, I'm gonna drink like all the other ones." So yeah, yeah, I got out of hand.
A
There's like
table
trying to
full
have
of drinks. Yeah.
yeah, it's like yeah, we got workarounds. So then it's just like someone like Lan would like be there like to ordering 2 drinks. She didn't even drink anything, right? But she's just there to like have 2 drinks on
Yep.
the side for someone else. It's like okay, guys, bye. Like she's not even drinking. It's like okay, we'll take those.
Yeah. No, no, they
Yeah,
got wise then though, so you had to have people sitting with 2 drinks each. So that's when yeah, it thought just okay, we'll call BP's and just order like 18 team pitchers and whatever.
yeah, yeah. And they're like, yeah, we'll take you. And that was cool because there was a pool table and there was I don't know, the VLTs weren't running though. Only if you're there early, if you EO'd, we were there at like 1, then yeah, you could play some VLTs. And it was fun. I don't know, I liked it. It was good. I didn't mind like, you know, we went there like right after, and they were just really convenient, and they were nice to us. Right, once we kind of figured out what their
Yeah.
names were and stuff, they were really
But the thing that I liked the most, though, it was a way to you could actually unwind and socialize after work, right? You know, there was that, okay, yeah, it was only an hour. Because the alternative was, okay, you go play poker somewhere. It was like, okay, go over there for an hour. And even then, it was like, okay, go there for an hour and then go play poker. And I was like, ugh, I don't like playing poker and at the best of times. So I used to go over there, drink for an hour, and then just drive home in my crappy little car, up what 70th Street.
cool. Oh no, yeah, I
Yeah, no,
understand.
it was
Yeah, Mike, I remember. Well, because after a few years, because that was around like '03, right? And that's when like Moneymaker won the World Series. Poker started to like boom, and then of course like you'd see a lot of the people that we work with just go to like 24 hour, like they go to another casino and play late night after like drinking. Right? So I remember like before we got obsessed with playing because we were doing like house games after that. Um, I just remember us just going to like another casino before we were doing our own stuff. Right? And
yeah.
that sorry,
Yeah,
that
we ended
reminds
up with those.
Mike. That reminds you of the time we got pulled over. Was that me? No. Oh, that reminds me of the time we got pulled over by like cops. Remember like the car that I was driving? It was like a mint green Tercel, and like
Yep.
2 of us got pulled over. Cops come up and they're like, "What are you guys doing tonight?" It's like, "We're going home." Where are you guys coming from? And they were like asking all of these questions. I'm just like, "Oh, what's your problem?" It just got a little too crazy there, where it's just like we have like IDs and stuff, and they're just like, "Well, a couple people match the description." I'm like, "Okay." in a mint green
It was
Tercel.
your dog there.
Exactly.
Yeah,
My gang tattoos.
drug
No,
sticking dog.
Daryl says I wore Moneymaker's bracelet for about an hour on the Voyager. Wow.
That's pretty
Oh, you
cool.
didn't meet him?
I'm just kind of curious what he did to do that, though. So come on, admit it now. Come out now, Daryl. What acts of depravity did you do to get Moneymaker's bracelet for an hour? How low did you go?
I think I was Daryl. I think I was on this cruise because Bill Ivey and a bunch of others were on that. But Moneymaker got knocked out really quick on that cruise, and I think he left in like our first port or something. We had the World Poker Tour on, I believe.
Just ask for a bit. Okay.
Yeah, that's the kind of that's kind of cool.
Above and beyond. I guess that's your definition of it.
He delivered well.
When I used to live back in actually it was the last casino I worked in Britain. It was in Bristol, right? And we never used to have any like legitimate legal like after hour places. So me and my friends, we had this apartment. It was a really nice apartment. There was 3 of us living in it, and it was crazy. And in Britain, they sell like alcohol in like corner stores and 7-Eleven or whatever, right? They all sell alcohol. And there used to be this this local store to us and it was a tiny little store, and they sold alcohol. And we go there so much, and it wasn't even cheap. It was just because it was close, right? And we're like, oh yeah, we work nights. We get home about 4 a.m. Will you open and sell us alcohol? They're like, we'll open at 4:30. We're like, okay. Can we order it to tell you what we want the night before, and then we'll just come? And it was literally, we'll come there, and we'd have like 25 people in our apartment, and we go there, we spend like, I don't know, $300 a night of alcohol. They loved us, man. We go there, we're like, okay, we fill it all up, we go back, we have this big party and poker and all kinds of stuff. And it was we were like the worst neighbors ever, because we were on the top floor of this apartment, and it was like 3 or 4 apartments below. Oh my God, I can tell you the crazy stuff that went on there. One of my roommates, he was literally crazy. He got fired off the ship for jumping off the top deck while he was in port. He had an argument with his girlfriend, and he just got drunk, climbed up and just jumped off the ship while he was in port. And he got obviously they're worried, and they dragged him out. And they're like, are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. And then, all right, you're fired. But he used to sit on the windowsill, like outside, so I come home from work, it'd be like 4 o'clock in the morning, and he'd be drunk, sat on the windowsill. Everyone's like normal life going on outside, and he's up there like second story, and he just sat there drinking, like drunk, sat there. It was so funny. It was a crazy house. He had an indoor bedroom. This is so weird. Anyway, he had an indoor bedroom, and he had a window, right? Just so obviously it wasn't like a cabin, but the window went into like the corridor, and we'd have to walk past his bedroom to go to the kitchen and the bathroom, right? And him and his girlfriend was just weird and kinky. And we'd walk past there, and sometimes he'd do like, whoosh, whoosh, all these weird, and he'd like, that burns. And like, we just didn't care, right? I mean, like, we'd see him the next day, and he'd be all these welts on his wrists and like, burn marks. And we just like, I just don't want to know. I only went to the washroom. I didn't want to hear all that stuff. Yeah, it was the craziest apartment, I swear to God. So much fun.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, just a bit of a tangent about drinking after work.
Oh no, that's cool. You always said this was in a previous episode, and like when we start our second season, I actually have we're gonna bring up some clips from the first season, just kind of jog your memory, because we've been tucking our butts off for hours, almost 2 days worth of stuff that we've just constantly been talking about. So I'm sure we forget stories, but yeah, there was one thing where you were talking about stories in Bristol, because you said you had quite a few. So
man, it was one of the funnest places I'd ever worked, to be honest. It was back then, because I told you about the one where they used to have they had to win at the time. It was probably about $7,000 a day, I think it was. If the casino, it was only a small casino, right? So one craps table, probably about 10 other tables, and their budget, it was like a chain of casinos, and their budget every day was like, okay, if they had $7,000, that was their target, right? Anything more than that was great. And they tell us, they say, okay, well, if we hit target, after work, we'll open the bar. And it was all draft beer. And yeah, it was. You would see dealers go like, like crazy. And like the last hour, like, what are we doing? You know, and everybody want because it's like, oh, free drinks until the man. And we'd say sometimes, it's depending on the manager. Some would be like, okay, 2 drinks, I'm going home. Some would be like, yeah, let's party. And we'd be there till the cleaners come the next morning. Do you know what I mean? And at the time, this casino had an apartment above it, right? And what they used to do is they used to, if anybody came in and wanted a job, they say, "Oh, do you have anywhere to live?" They're like, "Oh no, well you can just live in the apartment above." And so I was like, "Yeah, okay." So I went to live there, and they would wake you up if they wanted to work. Somebody would come in your room, they'd say, "Okay, go and ask John if he wants to work in half an hour." And he would literally, I'd be woken up out of bed and be like, "John, do you want to come and work?" I was like, "What?" It was crazy. It was so much fun.
What a great incentive for hands per hour, though.
Oh my god! One time the craps table won. I think it was crazy. It won like double or triple what the casino was supposed to make that day. The rest of the tables blew out, so it never made it. And the manager was so pissed. He was like, "Okay, all you guys on dice, go to the bar and drink as much as you want to until I leave." And we're like, "Oh." Everyone else, nobody drinks. So we had to go there. And it was, first of all, like there was only, like you said, there's obviously the 4 dealers and actually the boxman and one boxman. So we went out and we're like, should we drink? And we're like, ah. So we're drinking like, oh, and you can see everybody's evil eyes looking at us while we're drinking. Like, and we go, oh, or another one. Just, oh man, it was so much fun and crazy. Like you go and you party. And if you did double shifts, you'd have an hour off in the middle. You go and you drink way too much and come back. And my friend was drunk, so drunk one day he couldn't even deal. And he sat. The boxman was like, "Okay, you need to sit down." And he sat down and fell asleep. So he was like that, and we all just dealt around him. And then all the players, they know it. They was just like, this happens all the time. They were going in the, back then you could smoke in casinos. They were like getting cigarettes and throwing at him because his mouth was up. Like, and then all these cigarettes are bouncing off his head and stuff. I was just like, it was so much fun. It was crazy.
Oh, I would totally love to play.
And the sad thing is, I ended up connecting with a guy that I used to work with back then, and he's like, yeah, it's nothing like that anymore. It's like, nope, nobody can drink. It's so like you can't go out party, like the hour where you go and you come back and you'd be like, okay, I drink as much as you can in an hour and come back and you're like, oh my god, I hope I have first break because I really need to pee, but I didn't even bother when I was on break. And but yeah, now it's all changed. Sadly, casinos I think in general have all changed.
That's too bad. Let me just bring in our fourth. Hello.
Hey, Danny, how's it going?
Good,
See, doing great. Again, see, this is definitely Sesame Street. One of these things is not like the other. See, look at that. What am I not wearing? I'm gonna see if I have a check anywhere.
Hey, long time no see.
Thanks for, yeah, no doubt. Missed you a little bit there. Thanks for bringing the average age of our live stream down. So that's to a manageable age.
By a lot.
A much healthier age, yes.
Not
Okay.
out there. My immune system sucks.
Oh, are you feeling not too well? I thought you had a.
No, I'm okay now, but like I've been sick like every second week or something.
Well, that sucks.
Be awesome.
Hopefully you're awesome. I hope you're awesome today. So we were just talking. We were talking about Daryl because he's awesome. Daryl has a question for John. Do you recall taking a blackjack table up to pool deck on sea base?
No, the ships that I run, they never had that. They used to have like the horse racing. Remember the horse racing game, which was a blind ripoff? And just, I remember going up there sometimes and volunteering for that, just to be like, hey, get out of the way, just if they wanted someone to hang out and goof around. But no, I never. That would be kind of cool to go up and do a blackjack to people in their speedos.
I don't know. I see a lot of those people. That's like saying, oh man, it would be really interesting to go to like a swingers club, but then like you know, probably not, because expectation against reality, it's not what you think it would be. So don't ask me why I brought that up.
The first casino I worked, first shift I worked on, we had a group of nudists come on, and in your head you're like, oh, nudists, but they were all about 55 to 80, so it was like nobody wanted to see. And there was almost a riot on one of the sea days. There was like a scavenger hunt, and they're all in like the big hall, whatever, where you used to do the bands and live shit. And they're like, okay, everybody go and get this, da, da, da. And one of them, the last thing they had to get was, we need a pair of shorts. And somebody took his shorts off right in the middle of this room filled with kids and everybody, and he was naked, so that he just ripped them off and went, whoop. And there was almost a riot. And they were all Canadians too. They used to get so drunk. They were cool as long as they were clothed, but they were just a group of people you just didn't want to see naked.
Oh,
Must
Canadian
be that
noodles.
far east. That far east Canadians, that's the case.
Probably.
Daryl's also asking, we also did a table in a cigar bar on Voyager.
Voyager and Adventure, yeah.
Okay.
Awesome place. Worst place to deal.
So, like, how was that set up for you guys?
There was just it was a room. It was a room on the ship, and it was not a very well ventilated room. But we brought a blackjack table up there, and on sea days, I think it was open on formal nights only, if I remember correctly. But you'd have to do a rotation up there. But they did short rotations. Like I only think you went up there for half an hour at a time because the smoke was so thick. I mean, I don't mind cigar smoke and everything, but it was just it was horrible to deal with. But it was besides the smoke, it was a fun atmosphere.
Yeah, like the smokes can like burn like my eyes.
Oh yeah, it burned your eyes. You couldn't breathe. I mean, it was a heavy fog in that room. It was just it was insane, but it was a really cool room.
Well, that's cool.
So
Danny,
was it just sorry?
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask. So, Mike, when you went up to the deal, it was just like you. There was no other pit bosses. There's obviously no surveillance or nothing.
No, there was a pit boss. There was no surveillance, but there was a pit boss. But it was really low limit. I think we only had fives on the table, fives and ones. Like it was a maybe a $10 max table. We did have a pit boss that watched. People would go on casually play a couple hands and then go back to smoking cigars. You stood around most of the time instead of actually dealing the whole time.
Yeah. That's kind of a cool concept, but I think it'd be awful to stick around all that smoke, like things are now.
Yeah, you walk out of there and it's stuck to you. You smell like that for days. Half an hour up there and you just smell like
your hair. Oh
yeah.
Yeah, totally. Our hair.
Yeah, all the hair that's here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still happens. No, so I remember we were doing like Funny Money's. I think I mentioned this before, but we were doing Funny Money's when Rum Jungle first opened. So they kind of were bringing a bunch of people over, and it was just like 3 people, 2 tables. It was just blackjack, and I just remember the one time that they actually sent us over, and it was a Friday. So I'm like, oh, this is great. This is fun because like the music was loud and it was like banging and it was like new, right? So we was so busy in there. But they wanted like players were playing and stuff. It wasn't for like real money or anything, but it was just like we were there. Maybe it was like 11 o'clock. So okay, guys, got to clean up. Make sure you grab like the chips and stuff. Leave the tables there and grab them in the morning. So okay, yeah. So then we had to like just push the tables in or the chairs into the table. So then I'm like, okay, I'll do that. Like this girl's underwear was like on the chair, and I'm like, oh my god, is this a tip? Is this a tip? How does this happen? How does this just come off and like end up on the chair? Like I don't understand that. It's just like so weird. But it was just like, oh man, the stuff that you would see at like there, like at that part of the mall was just crazy. Like I'm walking to my car after work, and these two guys are like fighting. And this is the car that we took to Vancouver, so it's like this white old BMW, right? So these guys were like just punching each other and stuff. There's like blood coming on my car, and all I wanted to do was go home. So I'm like just standing there, right? Nobody's doing anything. These guys are just fighting. I'm like, can I just like get to my car here, guys? Because they're just pushing each other on my
Please
car.
pause for a minute. Time out.
Yeah, it's like,
Let me sneak by real quick, okay?
these guys are big. I'm not gonna try to break it up. Like I don't want to be a part of this. So I'm just standing there. I'm like, okay, are you guys done? You know, because it's just like so bad. Oh my god, that parking lot was the worst, man. And
Yeah.
like Mike, when we moved up, and then like you had access to surveillance when you became managers. So then like the videos that they had of like all the incidents was incredible.
Oh,
Incredible.
tons.
Some of this, like it had nothing to do with our casino, but because it was in the lot, you would be able to see like everything that was going on. And man, some of the stuff that those guys did over there was-
There used to
Yeah.
be a player that came in. I can't remember his name. He used to play craps, and he had an old like beater, and he was like a piece of shit. And he said, and he would drive it, especially to like the mall, and he'd park it up in our car park. And he's like, I don't even lock the car. I'm like, why? He goes, well, they'll just smash the windows and steal it. Now they just open the door and steal it. And he goes, they usually just leave it in the mall, and then eventually I'll find it. But he just used to leave it there, like, oh yeah, I don't care. But he used to lock it. He had tools. He used to have in the trunk. He'd lock that. He's like, I don't want to get the tools. I'll let him drive around. I don't care about that. So he just used to leave the door open, have gas in there. These people just steal it and drive around.
What? How do you do that when they don't have the key?
Oh, they just break it and stuff. But he just didn't care. He was rather like just because like whatever damage they did, he just didn't want to replace the glass for them
It's
smashing the window.
Yeah. I've had to replace the glass on my car a couple times. And my car's been hit and run at my casino parking lot twice.
That blows.
That's the worst.
I know. They took off my whole front bumper once. It was terrible. I only had my car for like a month. That was terrible.
Oh,
I had to they pulled me off the table, and then I was like crying. It was rough.
that's too bad.
Yeah, but at least like they let me like deal with it, like that was a good thing. Yeah, but we only have like one surveillance camera per
Probably
side.
probably not something you should say on the live stream here.
And yeah,
Yeah.
like a door, but like on the back sides because we have like designated parking, right? So it's far away.
Yeah.
Far away.
That's nice. Oh, Mike, thanks for sorry, it's like this is how I know when Mike needs to go, because he sends me a message and it's like that's it. Right? So it's
I always go at about 9 o'clock. I get ready. I work early, but I am excited for next week. Also, today I'm kind of a little disappointed, and I think we all had to put up with that last 2.5 hours of hockey. So,
oh,
pardon me.
come on. No,
Yeah.
here,
Well,
look. Go ahead, John. Go ahead.
I was going to
Put your
say,
mic up right on.
I only think I put up with about 20 minutes of hockey. Then I just ignored the next few hours.
I know it was on. It was like a train wreck. I had to watch to the end. Did they have it in? No, they didn't.
I didn't watch. What happened?
Don't worry
We
about
did
that.
not.
Yeah, the Oilers got destroyed.
Yeah, let's not talk about it.
Yeah.
Bye, Gerald. Wow.
See you, buddy.
Gerald almost outlasted Mike. That's crazy.
Close. He's like 90, so okay.
Yeah, and he's like, he's going to spend the next 15 minutes walking around his house wondering where he's got to be.
I know.
Mike, sorry, before you go, I just want to say that, like all these other teams that the Oilers play against, they've always been better than Edmonton. But in the last 30 years, how many cups have they won?
Well, you're right.
The same as Edmonton, right? So does it matter? No, it doesn't matter. Not right now.
It
No.
doesn't matter right now. You're right.
Hopefully
right.
you can go to bed feeling better after.
I will go to bed feeling better, and realize that on Saturday we're gonna mop the floor with the flames because you're gonna have one
Mm,
pissed off baby.
I, I I just have a question. Are you and Daryl going to be on like? No, no, you go sleep first. No, no, you go sleep first.
he's right beside him. He's right beside him, John.
Yeah,
Maybe,
Mike.
maybe.
Camera.
How many times have I told you it's bedtime?
Put in a message now, okay?
Oh my god. Okay, Mike. Well, thank you so much for being on. And next week will be exciting. It is our season premiere.
Season
Season,
2.
yeah, probably a new name because
Yeah, do we
someone
have
has.
a? I was about to ask, do we have a name for it?
I think I wrote it down, but I don't remember it. It's not very exciting, but if anyone has an idea for the name, yeah, you can put a name up. That's
What,
fine.
a name of the episode or a name of the whole thing?
A name of the podcast because there was okay. Wait, let's let Mike go because he's very tired, and then we can just surprise him on Wednesday. Oh, sorry, Mike. Also, tomorrow there will be a video I'm posting of a potential challenger from Hawaii that
All right.
played over the weekend. So perhaps he may be your next opponent for the Universal Paiao Tiles Championship of the universe.
Aloha.
Awkward. Very good. Okay,
All right, everybody.
Mike,
Take care.
take care.
We'll see you guys next week. Danielle, have fun. Enjoy.
See you,
Thanks.
Mikey.
Bye, Mike.
See you.
See you, Daryl.
You hang up.
We'll say bye.
Oh
my
man,
God.
I love Mikey and Daryl. They're so fun.
Yeah, sorry. Back to Danny. We haven't really decided yet. I say this is a good time to talk about it since we're online anyways, and if anyone has any kind of ideas for the season, absolutely put it down. Talking Crafts is already a podcast. Someone has actually they've actually created it, and I think they're doing much better than us. But they're talking like about crafts, about playing crafts. So it's all just about gameplay and like what's your strategy and how do you get comps, things like that.
It's fun. It's like that Facebook group, Craps!
Yeah,
Exclamation point. Are you guys
Yeah.
in that one?
I did join that one actually. It's a lot of brag stories.
A
Where it's
lot.
like, look at all the money I made
Oh,
playing in the
it's just-
field.
Playing the field.
like, how many idiots do you want to listen to? Like, I play 5, 6, 8 in the field. I win every time. Like, oh,
Every time.
how I can't lose for winning. It's like, oh, shut up. This is
I play a $5 midnight 29 times in a row. Look at my profits. Yeah, I totally get it. So yeah, back to that. This gentleman is doing it. I mean, he actually started his Talking Crafts podcast after us. But, I don't know. We don't really talk as much crafts, right? So we've been doing a lot of things.
I think it's just it was I think when you and I kind of like thought of a name, it was more like just it isn't about talking craps. It's just like talking crap, right? It's like,
Yeah,
hey,
it's
let's just call
funny.
it craps.
It was funny.
Yeah, it's just a pun, right? It's like, oh, it's just talking crap. Just like, what are you gonna do for the like next hour? Let's just talk crap, talk some shit.
I like the
Very
like
funny.
it was fun. It was fun making up like names, like the new Danielle element, right? Like I
Yeah.
like doing, like, so I mean, maybe we'll continue to do that. But talking like craps was like, I thought that was a really good idea. And just calling it that. And someone else just stole it. So
Son of a oh.
Is it just
No,
my
I don't know.
computer? Because I can't really hear you, Jay.
oh really?
Yeah, it sounds a little quiet. Is it just
See,
me?
that's- No, how about now? Can you hear me?
That's
Oh,
better.
no. This is
I
the
just-
sound of Jay.
This is
Was
my.
it-
I'm in my basement. Just letting you know that this is my new setup here for next week, and because we're doing a podcast, I'm not really. I don't know what to do. Like, see, I have like my ABS T-shirt here, but I don't know what to put over here.
Mm.
It's just a decoration. There's actually a 7 behind this board here that I put up. I didn't want to put it behind me because it might be bad luck or something, or just distracting.
I love your fluffy microphone.
Yeah, this is the John has the same one, I
What's
believe. This is the Rode
I didn't.
Video Micro.
Yeah, I didn't realize they called it dead cat. Yeah, I was like, yeah, there's the thing that goes on top of a mic, like the microphone's in there, that fluffy thing. It's called a
Yeah,
dead
I just called it like a puffball.
cat. Yeah, I was like, oh, what's that? Oh, they call it a dead cat. I was like, oh, it's a bit harsh.
Just a little.
Yeah. Well,
Mind you, I'm
and
not a
that's the
big fan
thing.
of cats, so
No, me neither.
not that I want to see it dead, like, but I mean,
I'm a little
This is
offended.
Danny, are you a cat person?
My cat's right here. Oh, he doesn't
that's
wanna
the
come.
name.
No,
See, that's I used to have cats growing up. Growing up, I always had cats, and they're like, I don't think cats live you. They just don't really like you. Like, oh, this guy feeds me, and I'll just go outside. I think they just kind of like live all over the place. Do you know what I mean? Dogs
my
are all
cat's a
dependent
bit
on you.
dog-like, but he like follows you around the house like a dog would, and like greets you at the door. Yeah, he's pretty nice. He's like 20 pounds though. He's a little big.
Do
We
you
we
walk
have
your
two
cat?
dogs. One of my dogs.
Sorry, I'm just asking if you walk your cat.
Oh, I do. He has a leash and a harness.
A friend,
Cool.
a friend of ours has a backpack, a cat backpack.
Oh, it
with
has
his
a little bubble.
The bubble. You seen that? And I was like, you seriously take him for a walk? Yeah, take him for a walk. And she has it there, and it's there in his
I'm
bubble.
not that crazy cat lady. Just
At the moment.
at the moment, yeah. I think my cat's too heavy to carry around in a backpack.
Yeah, that'd be some work. 20 pounds carrying him around for like an hour.
Yeah, it's true. So, in my old apartment that I lived in, the fire alarm used to go off like every couple weeks for some random reason. And I was on the 26th floor, and I had to carry him down like all the flights of stairs, and then sometimes back up. And I'm like, you're so fat.
Oh my god, that's insane. Okay, so sorry, did you guys want to talk about anything specific?
No, I just had a question. Just going back to the whole podcast thing. If you had what was your idea of the name?
Oh yeah, no, it was something really general, like casino talk. Canada. Yeah, no, it had something where like if you abbreviated it, it was like something funny, and I just can't remember what it was. So
Oh, it was just some kind of like acronym.
yeah, yeah.
Acronyms can be fun, but when you just say it like casino talk, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, it's because no. You put me on the spot here, and I was just like, no, I wrote it down. I just can't remember what it was, but
It's on a post-it somewhere.
yeah, like when I'm driving, and then it's like, oh yeah, there's like a really cool stick call. I'll just like write it down. Even it doesn't matter like where I am. If I'm like in traffic and I'm like shifting gears, I'm still gonna like take my pen and paper and write it down because I'm really forgetful now. So, oh yeah. That's the call. Yeah, 10. My ex-girlfriend, for some reason, she doesn't like men.
I remember buying a book to improve your memory.
Yeah. Did it work?
No, I forgot. I brought it home and I put it somewhere and I couldn't remember what I put the book. So it was in my house. I was like, where's that book? I was like, I can't remember where the book is.
God, that's hilarious.
And I found it about 3 years later when I was kind of like throwing all the junk out of my basements when it was like it finally got renovated, like we developed the basement. I was like, oh my god, I was looking for that for about 3 years and I still never read it. I was like, oh no, oh my god, I'll throw it away somewhere.
Oh, that's funny. I used to try to do things like that. Just get like books, and there's some like the math ones too, because like roulette for me was like the last game that I learned, and I wasn't really good. I wasn't really good at it. Like the chips were fine, like pushing and everything, but like getting to the math and like the people that you worked with, they're always like more experienced than you, so then they got the number before you when you start. And it's like,
I was so bad when I first started.
Yeah.
I don't know if I mentioned it, but like my very first shift was supposed to be like a hockey night when I was still at Cowboys. and I had 3 tables before it, and right before I was supposed to go on, I was so scared. I said I was sick and went home. I was like, nope, can't do it. Can't. I quit. It was so scary. Yeah, because there's like layers upon layers of people and like all colors out. And I'm like, my first shift, like, was terrifying. So I just said, no way. I'm sick. And then I went home, and the rest of the night I spent it like on the Learn to Deal app for roulette, just practicing all my math and doing all that. And then next shift I was okay. But I was so scared. I was like, I can't remember anything right now. What's 17 times 3 again?
Oh man.
I was once working in this casino in Cardiff, where the hometown where I'm from, and it was only a small casino, and the restaurant was really close to kind of like the tables and stuff like that, and the bar. It was a small casino, so it was really close, and the kitchen fan broke, and it was like a Saturday night, so it was super packed, and they had to open the door to the kitchen to let the heat out. So then the entire place was like super hot, and it was like humid, and it was just horrible to deal. And it was in the summer as well, and the air conditioning was bad. So everybody just sweating, and it was like greasy and awful. And I was on stick and like on the craps table. I'm like, I'm not enjoying this. So then I just went home. Just when it comes on for my break, I just left and went, got my coat, and then just went to the bar. And I'm like, no, I'm dealing with this. Don't want to do this now.
That's funny.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I never went back. Actually, I think that was my last shift. I was like, nah, I don't want to do this anymore, and I just left.
Oh man. Danielle, since you're here, I just wanted to ask from last week. Do you know what game this is?
That sick bow? What's that? I don't know what it is.
It?
No.
Yeah, you're right.
Is it sick bow?
It
Oh,
is.
I was right.
Yeah.
Sweet.
That's the
I
Palace Casino sick bow.
Yeah.
I remember the
What was-
carpet.
Oh yeah, that's I loved looking for dice. That was like the best on that carpet. It was so fun.
How do you
I-
deal with that? Like, what's the
How do you-
point of the game?
Well, you see that wheel there? That's supposed to be 3 dice. So it's Canadian craps basically. And you grab 3 roulette balls and you drop it down that little ramp there, and then it goes into the wheel, and you enter in the 3 digits, and it lights up, and it gives you the total. If it's small, big, triples, you can bet on any combination of the dice that you want.
Oh, cool. I have a
there's no
casino
dice.
app, and I think that I saw the game on there. I might have to try it out.
Yeah, it's
See if I can play it.
it was absolute hell because it was a one. I promise, this is my story dealing it. It was a $1 table, and I had a day shift on it, and like for some reason, okay, the pit boss got so mad at me because this guy came down and then put $100, which was the maximum at the time, 1 to 100. He put it on small. I got 17 smalls in a row, and it was this like teenage guy, like he was like maybe a year older than me. So then he's like grabbing his phone, and it was like the flip Motorola phone. He's talking to his friends like, I got like 17 in a row, and I'll tell you who the pit boss is, John, after. But yeah, it's like the pit boss comes like, what did you do? And I'm like, what do you mean, what did I do? I was just dealing the game, right? And it was like, yeah, this table's down. Like, how's this table down almost $2,000? And I'm like, I don't know. I was like, because like small, how many times? It's like, oh my god. Like, it was my fault. Like, I was supposed to like section the wheel or something. I was just like, okay, calm
You know
down,
how many
guys.
like either reds or blacks you got in a row? Like, I remember one time I counted, and I think I had like 18 blacks, and then like and then I had 2 of the zeros like somewhere in there, but it was the 0 that's in between 2 reds. So on either side, it would have changed it, and it was really, really, and everybody was betting against it. They're like, it's impossible to do it again. I'm like, Oh yeah.
Yeah, it will never happen again.
Keep doing it. Go ahead. Because that's how odds work.
In Britain, on the like the oh sorry, go ahead.
Oh, so just saying hi to Nicola. Hello.
Who Nick?
She says it was fun with a good partner. I mean, yeah, I guess so. But how
It's
often would you
dual?
really have to? What's that?
It's dual dealer?
It sometimes it was like if it was really busy, one person would just do the wheel and then because they'd enter in the 3 numbers, and the other person would do the payouts. So it's like your base person. So yeah, it's kind of like Canadian craps. So fun with a good player and no players. Yeah, that was definitely good labor.
I remember sitting box on an empty game, and somebody walked over and was ultimately disappointed when it wasn't sick bowl, and they were like, "What? This isn't sick bowl." I'm like, "Yeah, right. It's not sick bowl." And they're like, "Where is it?" I was like, "You see the under the the stairs? That's sick bowl." And they're like, "Oh, thank God!" And then they left and played sick bowl. I was like, "Okay, sorry to disappoint you."
Is there signal like anymore? Like in like where is it played? I've never seen it.
In Vancouver, they did have it, and it was like a more extravagant version of it, where it was like these big balls that you roll down some sort of pathway, and yeah, it was something that they had downtown. I remember that because like when they would come to the mall, they'd be talking about it. It's like, what is this? Because it was a little disappointed, and I thought ours was nice.
Yeah, because didn't Nicole say that the players rolled the balls as well?
Yeah,
in Vancouver,
yeah.
Which would be crazy. I suppose that's why they're like, it was fun. It'd be even better if they would like giant balls. You know, like, yeah, like
just going around the outside of the casino walls, like just
like a basketball. You know what I mean? Like, oh.
You have to get it in.
They need to make these games more fun.
You know what, Danny,
but go back to the next point. I think every game was fun when there was another player on there, another like a partner dealer on there. It was so much fun to deal all these games when there was someone else to kind of like burn, like to lessen the pain sometimes, or just have a laugh.
Oh no, for sure. I think
That's why I used dual. Sad.
Yeah. That's why I did take Pai Gow, right? Because I wanted to take Pai Gow, roulette, and dice. I didn't want to really take poker or anything else because I just wanted to talk to somebody else. That's what makes the game go by.
You just wanted a friend.
Yeah, it's. Like,
I was lonely.
Like, well, I think my first game was Pai Gow, right? Because it was like, do you want to learn poker?
First?
Yeah, it was my first. Like, well, you learn like Caribbean stud poker, let it ride, sicko. I don't know if those count, but yeah. And then after that, it's like, yeah, my first core game was Pai Gow, which was cool because like, you know, everyone. By the way, I'm Filipino, so then like they were all speaking Cantonese, but they were speaking Cantonese to me, and I'm just like, yeah, you know, like I didn't understand what they're saying. So it's like so awkward, right? So they're asking me a question, and I'm just like, it's like. If they're yelling, I'm just like this, you know. So like, there's like signals that you have to like do. But then it was nice because then you'd have someone like, you know, someone like a Toe, right? Because Toe was one of like the originals, so he'd be on there, and that's all he'd do. He'd be speaking like Cantonese, like the whole chef. So you'd just be sitting there for like, you'd deal for 20 minutes, he'd correct you, and then 20 minutes you're just watching somebody else, and you're just like this, and you'd just be like 20 minutes on break. It was like the best rotation. They never made it 15s there. And there's 2 people, and it wasn't a crossways, so I'm sitting beside you, and we're both sitting together. Like there's like,
yeah, it was a sit-down table too, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, didn't even sad. Like it was, yeah. The chairs were comfy there too. It wasn't like you know, a baccarat chair where you're just like, oh my back, you have to like lean forward or anything. You're like sitting back, you can still reach everything. It's like a blackjack table size, so definitely fun.
Yeah, I think I dealt Pai Gow there like two shifts there. That was like I learned it because I was like, oh, this looks like a cool game. I dealt it 2 shifts for like 2 days. I was on it like rotation for 2 days. Then I realized Cho always got the last break, or he would get angry. Even if he didn't get scheduled it, he'd be like, "You swap with me." I was like, "Okay, you can have it. I'll have the shitty first break. I don't want it, but you can have it."
Danny, did you have any mamas that you had to work with there?
Mamas.
Yeah, like some older staff that were like on Paiga, or is it just that bunch of young kids there now?
No, I mean they're pretty much all older. You know, I'm like the only white girl and the only one like probably under 40.
Do you deal in a seniors home?
Yeah, and the players, yeah, it's great. But they're like I always say I love dealing to like my old papas, you know? Like they're all so nice to me and yeah, but it's so funny when I first switched, they did not like me. They were like they thought it was like my first day and nobody wanted to play because I would have like beginner's luck and like take everyone's money. I was like, no, I've dealt it before, I promise. Play with me. I swear I'm nice. Yeah.
Oh,
And now it's like when I'm at like a different table in the same pit and not dealing there, they're like, come here, come deal.
Oh, I'll tell you, it's funny that you say like you're like under 40. I think if you play like come to our casino, it's the same thing. And I'm laughing because I'm like, yeah, that's right. But then like now I'm the one that's like over 40, so yeah, there's no young kids at our casino anymore.
All the dealers have like comfortable shoes and all tied up by Velcro because like and they shuffle.
And my walker will stand up. Okay, guys, just one. We should bring some topics up just for practice because this is our last like pre-show episode 0. I might actually put it on the podcast, so we'll see how it goes. But it's pretty easy going, and it's funny because like when someone comments, I have to actually say the comments, right? So it's practice. I don't want to read the whole thing, but then if we're doing a podcast and there's like no video, then it's like, oh, what that guy said was hilarious, but then nobody really knows what it is. Okay, so my topic, we were supposed to talk about this last week, but what is an embarrassing floor supervisor / boxman story that you can share?
I don't know if this was embarrassing, but it's kind of weird. Anyway, so when the first casino I worked in, we used to have a set dice crew, and that's all we dealt. So there was like, we used to call it like it's like ABCD. So there's like 7 shifts, and there was like 7 dealers, and there was one guy who worked permanent days. Anyway, so there was we'd always it was all we dealt was just craps, and there was one guy who did permanent days, and a boxman who did permanent days. And the guy who did permanent days was this really weird guy. He was so strange. And anyway, he used to eat garlic by literally the pound a week, like incredible amounts. And he was a kind of a heavier guy who sweated a lot, and he'd smell all the garlic coming out. It would ooze out of him, and he'd be like, "I had 27 cloves of garlic in my steak last night," and he did, right? And you'd have to deal with him. And so many times, like going from a night shift to a day shift, I might have had like an hour's sleep and I've like, hung over and I'm like going, and so many times I feel like, I think I'm going to be sick. I have to come over because he was so smelly. It was like he would just ooze out of him and he'd be like, and because all the players know what he was like, they'd be like, oh, come and lean over here, get closer. And he thought it was funny and he'd be like, I can't make it till the break. It was so nasty. And then he'd have to run off and it was just awful. And he thought it was hilarious. It was crazy. His name is Malcolm, that was right.
Oh
I don't really. So it wasn't like a floor supervisor, but it was like the poker like houseman. And so like I was in the cash cage, and so it was like my turn to go on break. So I went on break, and then the houseman went into the cash cage for me. And by the time I come back, he tells me like, no, don't come in here yet. I just let like 5 ones rip in here, and I'm like, what the heck? Like he's like, yeah, you can just do my job for the next little bit. I don't want to torture you. It was so bad. It's so funny. They're so brutally honest too. Like they don't even care. It's like, yeah, I just It's nasty in here. Don't come.
My crazy friend back in Bristol, do you know what a carbuncle is? It's like a big boil thing, and it was on his ear. I was pit bossing, and anyway, so he's there, this guy Jason, and he was so much fun. He was a great dealer. He was a great guy. And anyway, so he had this big thing on his ear, and I was like, he's stealing away, and it popped, and it was just like, bleh, and it went all over like it's shit, and I had to run away from that too. It was just like, it was just. It was all over his shirt and everything, and everyone, because it was like he wasn't doing it; he was just dealing blackjack, and he just went, boom! It looked like he'd been hit by an egg. It was, honest to God, the grossest thing I'd ever seen. And me, obviously, like very supportive of my friend, I just ran away. It's like, ah! I just screamed and ran away. It was so gross.
One time I was pitting and I had called like surveillance to say something, and then the person picks up and they say their name, so they're like hey, this is like I think his name was like Andrew or something. He's like, hey, this is Andrew, and I'm like this is Andrew. And I'm like, what the heck am I saying? Like, they always laugh at me. I've said the most like embarrassing things all the time. I'm like, no, this is Andrew. And then he's like, what? Like, clearly I'm not. Like, I'm just, oh, so embarrassing. The worst.
Oh, that's not so bad.
Yeah. No, but they always laugh at me. Or I'll be like, yeah, like I'm on my way to surveillance. And they're like, you're what? I'm like, no, that's not right. Like, it's so terrible. They're like, you're doing what? That's a long walk.
When I first started as a floor suit, and I was relieved. I have some stories that I'll remember, but we'll talk about that next week. But I was usually like relieved to box. And this was after everyone else got promoted, so it was like, okay, this is kind of new for me. I ended up being a floor supervisor at the same time, and at the time we had lucky sevens on blackjack, and if someone got 3 sevens, it was like $500 or the 5,000. So the 500 happened so often that they had a script at the pit, so then we would have to read the script. For me, it was like the first time like someone got 3 sevens. Like, oh, congratulations! I'm like, oh crap! Now I have to like be on the phone, on the intercom, and the intercom is all over the casino, and you can kind of hear it outside of the mall too. So I was just like, oh, great. I don't want to do this, and they're like, no, you have to do this. Just go grab the sheet, put in the name, whatever it is, because it's like whatever blank, congratulations, blah blah blah. So I'm like, okay, fine. Then I get to the pit stand, and I pick up the phone, and I press the intercom so you can hear it. And it's like, okay, that's the first thing I said. Okay, the Palace Casino would like to congratulate blah 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 on a lucky sevens payout of $500. Congratulations from the staff of the Palace Casino. My voice cracks. My voice cracks. It's busy, and I'm like, oh crap. I don't like press the thing. It's like I like hang up the phone and I like turn around. The whole pit's looking at me, and then they just all burst out laughing. I was just like, whatever. It was like so embarrassing. And I'm my voice cracks so much. Even like if I'm like on stick John, my voice would like crack a couple times. It's like I'm like an old man here. What's going on? Even now, sometimes it happens. Oh wow. Well, guys, I mean, like, this is a nice, easy episode. Not much going on. I'm hiding all the good stuff because I don't really want to get too deep into like our topics because we have a lot of good stuff for next week. We have our first guest. Da-da-da. Episode number 1, March 10th next week. We got Arden.
Che.
Wow, look at that guy. So fancy. He's really fun. We did a little segment before when I first started doing this channel, and one of the pioneers for Hagao tiles. One of the people that brought it into the province. So he's pretty cool, and he worked at Princess Cruises as well. So yeah,
Yeah, he's got a lot of cool stories. Adam's done an interesting life. He's a really cool guy.
yeah.
I'm excited to watch it.
He loves blackjack too. So
Okay, that's it. That's all of a sudden you're like, no, he ain't that nice. I was just about to say he's like super smart as well. Then you throw in like he likes blackjack. Now we take it all back. Forget all the degrees he has. He has a lot. I was going to say, man, the guy's so smart, and then you're like, he likes blackjack.
forget it. Um, yeah, we do. So yeah, Danny. Hopefully, you can co-host a few of those episodes. It'd be
I'd
nice
love
to.
to.
It'd be nice to have you on. I know, like you're super busy. I don't know what your schedule is all the time. So
No, it's just my sleep schedule is sometimes terrible. Going to sleep at 2 p.m. isn't really great.
well, how are you coping with everything? Not being able to go back to our casino and
Uh, Sometimes it's a little rough, but like, I don't know. I've been playing some V bingo with my mom, so that's pretty fun. I won once, but yeah,
um,
yeah, V bingo's okay. Like, they just have to like find stuff to keep busy. Binge watching a lot of shows. Yeah, how are you guys doing with it? You guys doing okay?
how about you, John?
Well, I'm still working, but I mean, like, my kids were all shut down for the stuff they could do, right? So like the soccer, and I have one son in boxing, one son in soccer, and my daughter, she's still working. She's a bit older, but still, she's been okay. But yeah, but the whole shutdown thing, I've been binge watching shows like crazy, like just blowing through Netflix shows. Me and my wife, we find we're like, okay, we'll watch this in like 2 days. It was just
Me
crazy.
too. It's so hard for me to stop, and like that's yeah. I just watch like 2 seasons in one night, and I'm like, oh shoot, that's like 15 hours. Where did
And
it go?
I have an asshole of a dog. He's a miniature schnauzer, and what he does, I think he's a half bat because about 2 o'clock in the morning he decides, okay, he wants to walk around the house. He's nocturnal, and he'll scratch on my older son's door, and it wakes me up because he'll scratch you like, and I'm like, oh, son of a bitch. So I get up and I walk and I open his door, and then I'll go back and I get into bed. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll try to go back to sleep. And as I go back to sleep, he'll scratch my bed because he wants to get on my bed. I'm like, oh, I just want to punch him in the face. So then I end up coming downstairs. I'm like, okay, I'll put him on the bed. I'll come downstairs. I'll sleep on the sofa. So then I'm like wide awake at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, ah, Netflix it is. Okay, I'll carry on watching that Ted Bundy show.
Oh, I watched that. Yeah, I've been watching
Yeah.
a lot of like the true crime stuff. It's really interesting. But yeah, it's funny because somebody asked me, they were like, "How was your weekend?" And I was like, "When, like every day is the weekend for me. I don't even know what's going on. Like, what is time?"
That was the same thing on the ships. When I used to work on the ships, I'd lost complete track of like what day of the week it was. It was always like, oh, tomorrow's the sea day. The day after that is, San Juan, Cozumel, blah, blah, whatever it was. And then I would, to be honest, if someone said, oh, do you know what day it was? I'm like, no, I'd be hard put to tell you what month it was, let alone like today. I'm like, I think it's February. You forget like, oh, it's the day, date, nothing. So that was, yeah, it was because they all kind of blurred into another.
Did you manage to watch Rounders yet?
No.
Okay,
Where
That's a
where can where can I find it?
I thought I gave it to you.
I realized like there's a lot of like casino movies that I haven't seen. Like, I don't think I've seen barely any.
Well,
Even like the one with like James Bond, I don't think I watched. What's that called? Ocean's what? Is there
You're,
is there a game in
Ocean's
there?
11? What?
I don't know. Is there like poker in there? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, there is poker, and I think maybe one of the episodes, the three of us should just like put the clips on and just like review it and be like, okay, that's dumb, because
But I find it so hard to watch like movies with like dealing in it, because like if it's not good, I get like really upset. Like I like cringe over it, hardcore. I can't watch it. This is wrong.
It was like, I remember the movie Croupier with was it Clive Owen? That was pretty good, just because it was like set in Britain. I remember a few of us went. I think Arden went as well. We went to watch it in. I can't remember the Garno movie theater. I think it was anyway, like the old movie theater. And we went to watch it. And the opening scene is credits. It's a roulette ball spinning. I remember all of us sat there and we were like, "That's the longest spin I've ever heard." Like you could tell all the dealers were like, "This isn't the movie." The movie hadn't even started yet. It was still like the titles. We were like, "That's not realistic. That's not realistic at all. It's not even." But it actually ended up being a good movie, and they were kind of it showed you kind of what a casino was like in Britain. So they still always like, that doesn't happen. They don't play like that. That's a lie.
A couple comments here. Hi, Nicole. Oh, sorry, movie star Nicole.
Yes, celebrity.
Yeah, actress Nicole. Welcome. 007 plays craps in the new movie. Yeah, it's pretty funny because like he did a skit on Saturday Night Live. So I don't know if you guys saw that, but
Yeah.
I'll tag you in that because it's pretty funny. The other one was, so Joe also saying 21. Have you watched 21 yet?
Oh, they have Rounders on Prime Video.
I swear I gave you a DVD. Do you know what a DVD is?
So funny. I had like the VHSs, like
The VHSs.
yeah.
What was the other one called, Danny? There's VHS and
I don't know.
there was Blu-ray and HD HD DVD. There's like Nintendo and Sega. There's
Begins with a B.
What?
there's VHS and oh boy. Okay. No, I'm not giving you any hints. I was just wondering if you knew about that. So.
No, I don't think so.
Well,
This
maybe
isn't
you're
fair.
gonna have to Google that. This isn't fair. Mike, Mike always used to do that. Like he'd the young people at work, he'd just ask them, it's like, "Have you seen Back to the Future?" Do you know that? So, Danny, have you seen Back to the Future?
In it?
What?
I thought they travel in time through a like a bathtub or something.
That's Hot Tub Time Machine.
Oh,
that was made about 30 years after.
well, no, I haven't seen it.
Okay, one of them travels through time in a hot tub. The other one is in a DeLorean. Similar.
Oh, very similar. A DeLorean is a bathtub, right? I'm joking. It's a hot. Don't kill me.
I always I like asking because it's just like this is eras here. So Danny, like, what do you remember any 1980s movies?
Yeah, The Breakfast Club.
Okay, I figured.
There's what's
Ferris
it called?
Bueller?
No, the one where the girl's name is Baby.
I'll have to think.
And it's
That's what
dancing.
It's the dancing. It's the
Dirty Dancing or something?
Dirty Dancing.
How old is that movie?
Patrick Swayze. That's probably the 80s too.
That's it.
No.
Yeah, that's right.
There's a couple like 16 Candles. I know a couple.
When you think of it, those like the 80s was 40 years ago, which is scary enough.
I know a couple, okay.
Hey, do you see this? Danny Sampson came. So, which book was that one? Was that
21.
21? Oh,
I
I'm
think
sure. Actually, I worked with Danny. He was a lot of fun. I have a completely X-rated story I could tell about Danny. I won't. Not on here, but basically we were in the Reeperbahn in Germany. It was a crazy story. So, but I won't tell it on here. But anyway, that was so much fun. So,
That's
oh yeah,
funny.
Joe said. So introduce me to players on the ship as card counting be my favorite hobby while dealing blackjack to them.
I think the book was Bringing Down the House. I think that's what it was. So, but yeah, the movie was 21. It's actually good. I didn't mind it. So, card counter, I am not. And I don't like card counters. No, it's not. I don't like card counters. There was just one guy that like hit on my ex a long time ago, and then I just didn't like anybody. So,
So
different
now
story
you
for
hate
another
all
time.
card counters.
Yeah. Oh. I think I said that once. I was like, yeah, well, so like my ex at the time was dealing to this guy, and he's like hitting on her, and then I would just go up to the table. I wasn't even in the pit, but I'm like a pit boss, and I go to the pit. I'm like, half deck, cut a half deck. It's like every single time. It didn't matter, and he heard me too, and he's like, "What's your problem?" I'm like, half deck, and then I would just walk away. I'm like on break, right? Yeah, that's it.
That's
No,
so-
Joe, I love you. I don't as a card. Yeah, no. You being
I
a
could
card counter, I'll never hate you.
I could never, like, to be honest, all like the stuff that required a lot of thinking, I used to hate doing in gambling because I'm like, I worked at casinos, that was work. When I played, I wanted to be mindless. So I'd be, okay, roulette is mindless and crap's mindless. I didn't have to think. I didn't have to go, like, should I do this? So I used to avoid like blackjack and poker because really you have to kind of like pay attention. Me, when I used to gamble, it'd be like, I just want to drink a lot, have a laugh, and then just shout and scream at it. So it just seems too much hard work to be like card count. I'm like, the amount of money I would make, I'd be like, I may as well just go to work. It's just like, yeah, I never bothered.
No, I agree. I mean, I would play poker for like 12 hours and I'd make $60. What am I doing, right? Like,
yeah, it's like just
after
make
all of that
$5 an
time.
hour.
Yeah, I mean, and it's crazy. So it's just like, what am I doing? And then like after that, it's just like I'll just go at like a craps table, and I'll know in about 5 minutes where I stand, right? So, am I going to the bar or am I staying? And like, like it's just like,
Yeah, I love
So-
when like all like my friends who like don't gamble or don't work at the casino, that they're always like, "Oh, you must be so good at playing poker." Like, no, I am the worst. Like, I will not play. I don't mind donating to like my friends at like house games or anything, but I have never ever won. Like, so bad. I don't have the patience. Like, they're like, "Oh, well, like, good deal. So you must know. Like, tell me all the tricks."
oh no, you know what? Sometimes I go to a house game and then I play and I'm like the second one out, right? So then I'm mad because it's like, oh, so I thought you were really good. Oh, wow, I thought you work at a casino. You should be a really good player. I'm like, yeah, okay. So then I end up like dealing. So I'm like, oh, here, let me deal since I'm not gonna go anywhere. And then I just like start like bashing these guys because I'm like, oh, nice call on the river there with your dumbass hand. So, so then like you just be saying stuff like that. Look at this Hollywood over here. Oh my God, what a ding. I just, I think that's just my way of getting back. Just sort of like knowing how to deal. That's just the only way you can really get back at a group of people like that.
Yeah.
So
Being able to deal doesn't translate into being able to play.
no, it doesn't. I always, I always wondered if it was like really worth it to like ever play. I mean, like you play if it's for fun and with your friends and stuff. But
Yeah,
the amount of time that you spend working in a casino, like, I think that's why like I don't work, John, at like River Cree. River Cree is like I can walk to River Cree from my house here, and I just refuse to work there. It's not because I didn't want to, but I would just want to wind down there and like, go sit at the bar and just chill and relax. And I don't know, they have like a hockey rink, right? So you can watch like whatever over there. But then like when they had games and stuff, it was cool. Like I liked it. There was a nightclub there, and that was fun. So
I
many
saw
other
a few
things. you could do.
MMA fights there too, like a long time ago.
Yeah,
In that tent they
Right,
had at
like-
the back.
yeah. It reminds me. Sorry, there's like this YouTube video about like casinos in Alberta, and then they like talk about like River Cree. Oh, it's downtown Edmonton. I'm like, where the hell are you getting your information from?
Exactly.
But I'll post that clip for you guys, and you can just laugh together at it. So, but yeah, just weird. They're talking about like the biggest casinos in Canada, and like that was one of them. And yeah, it's just like wow, like no respect for the casinos here in this province. So.
I remember the few times when I went there, you know, like it was kind of like, okay, we went there, probably had too much to drink. And then, you know, because it's kind of like a circle, and they used to have that smoking area. And I'd know when I was kind of going towards the wrong space, because I would go, oh, I smell smoke. Nope, not by here. And, you know, like trying to find your friends. You're like, oh, no, not in the smoking area. And then trying to, you know, and you just kind of like wander off trying to find someone. But you just knew it wasn't in the smoking bit.
Oh, no, true. It was like a clock, because it was like the hour to like 15 minutes. It was always a quarter where it's like, oh, yeah, turn around. You just head to the middle. Head to the
Exactly.
middle.
Oh, I come too far. Got to walk that way.
Oh, wow. Danny, here's a follow-up for you. Are you able to teach us any stick calls? Anything fun and easy to remember? This was just a question for an Ask John Anything a couple of weeks ago, but that's a good question for you.
What? What is video like color up?
Oh, that's a guy. Another YouTuber. Do you have any stick calls for some peers on the YouTube channel?
Probably none that are appropriate.
Okay, good.
All crap calls are inappropriate. That's why we live them.
Oh, I know.
Danny, all the questions that I'm going to be asking you are just going to be like embarrassing ones, or like, you know, what are your pet peeves? Because like some of the other ones here, like we have just on our panel is like, here's one for you. How are you able to manage working casino hours while raising children?
We
We
don't.
can substitute children with cat.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you just leave them at home by themselves.
There you go. Pretty much that's what we do too. I make them shit in a box, put a food in the corner on the floor,
Exactly.
and then I
Leave
go to
them
work.
on the floor. Good to go.
Exactly.
Carry yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are funny. Okay, here's one that actually applies to you. This is a good one, and then that's it. I won't ask you any more questions. But when should casinos reopen in relation to everything else? That's a good question. Your opinion?
I think, I don't know. You mean like completely reopen, or like with like some restrictions still?
However way you want to interpret this question.
Well,
Do you think that it, like, with the plan that they have in Alberta, do you think that that's the right way of doing it? Do you think it should be slots and table games at the same time, or should it be separated? Do you
Well,
think they're
I
going
think-
too early or too late?
I mean, I understand why they are separate though, because like the slots that can be easily like more managed, like with just like the little signs that you flip over, say like dirty clean, and then you have like the cleaning crew come around and do that. And because because like all restaurants are open, it's hard because nobody's going to go into a casino with no slots, no table games, just for their restaurant that's there. So, I mean, I kind of understand like why they would be open separate, just to help out like the restaurants that are attached. I think that's okay. But I mean, I obviously want to get back to work as soon as I can. I don't know. Like, I haven't really been following the news very much just because it's kind of all depressing. So I've been kind of avoiding that. I don't even like fully know the plan. Like, I just heard gyms are like reopening now, but like only low physical activity. I don't know what that means.
Basically, anything that requires you to, like, if you take that, you know, your water bottle and you're like, oh, you know, if you're like, oh, that was okay, that's too much work. You just took the top off, and you, whew, this was on top. Like, oh, I
They're
can't
like,
get out.
like, yeah, you can go to the gym, but you can't breathe hard. Like, what? What is that?
Yeah, so I mean, to be honest, I mean, maybe there's a couple of steps to go up before you get into the gym. You might be out of breath getting into the
That's
gym.
enough
You're
to
like,
make me breathe hard.
yeah, you're like, hey, get out. Well, I haven't even got in yet. What do you want? Get out. You were breathing hard, just walking up the stairs.
So
Oh my god.
Because he was saying like you can't do treadmills because you might breathe too heavily. So,
yes,
but
exactly.
can you just go on a treadmill and just kind of like just go up the front and then just go, just not move? It's like okay, it's like phantom treadmill running.
Yeah.
You're just standing on it.
You're just standing
not
on it.
even moving.
Yeah, you just holding onto the sides and just like okay, I'll just hold on.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Oh man.
But I'm hoping soon, like within a month. That'd be great. Since like the original plan was supposed to be at the end of March, right? But everything's got pushed back. I don't know. I think it really just depends on how many like vaccines they can get out and who wants them and stuff like that. So,
I mean, I work in healthcare, and I
Have you?
haven't even got a email or any kind of confirmation yet. And I work for like 5 hospitals, so yeah, it'll be a while. I think. I mean, my mom can get it because she's over 75, so that's cool. But it's unfortunate. Like, I don't know what what you can do. I bet you say March. I don't.
for 75?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So my grandparents can't even get it then.
So end of the year. That's what I'm predicting here. That's early too. I don't see it for dealers. I don't know what you think. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how you feel, John.
I think it'd be cool if they say, okay, the table games are fully open, but you have to wear kind of like a hazmat suit to play. So you go in. The dealers are all okay because they got a mask, but all the players come in the hazmat suits, and they can have full table. Everything is open. You just got to wear this hazmat suit thing. Just come in like.
So,
It'd be awesome. He'd be like, okay, see that guy over there? Kick him up. Which one? That one. They're all wearing the same stuff.
yeah, they all look the same. They're all like can't see what anyone looks like.
Yeah. It'd be funny. You go on with the wrong person. You'd be like, okay, you get in the car and you drive home. Be like, who the fuck are you? Oh, sorry. Who are you? I have no idea who you are. You took up drunk, take up the wrong hazmat suit.
Oh, I would love to deal in that.
Wouldn't it be
I don't
awesome?
know. Oh, I think. I had this like vision of because I was like, what was I doing? I was just flipping bacon, but I have these silicone purple tongs. I'm like, oh, I wish I could just deal with those and just like use tongs to pull cards out of the shoe and like deal. Oh my god! I like instead of having hands, you'd have like those gripper things, where you like pick up stuff. Oh, that would be so fun. I don't know. I think about stuff like that all the time. Imagine trying to deal crabs with just like tongs, just passing chips out. I have to try. Yes,
Look it.
Spatula. Yeah, you'd have to deal with kitchen appliances. That'd be awesome.
I think so. I have to do that. Yeah, I have to do a TikTok video for that. So
Do it. That'd be so funny. Please.
Like flipping chips with your spatula. There you go, catch them.
Got it. Just flick up and get it.
Yeah, 6 to 60 with a spatula. Ha ha! Like that.
yeah. Like, where'd all my followers go? It's like, what the hell is this? No, it's funny.
I think people would appreciate that. That's so funny.
To be honest, I think we need a more like dysfunctional dealing. To be honest, everything's like, perhaps I can do it. Yeah, but can you do it with a spatula or with exactly with tongs? Just like.
Oh my god, you guys are funny.
Do it.
I like seriously. I always think about like, what am I gonna do next? And it's just like the whole thing with those videos is just to like show the industry. Like, there's some elegance to it, right? Like, there is an art to it. And I'm doing chip tricks, but I mean, if I was like pushing out payouts, for example, I think it would still be cool. Like, I think people would be like, "Whoa, that's different." like I don't know. We don't have that. There's like, dentists talk about, oh, these are 5 things that you should do when you brush your teeth, and like we don't have anybody that's like, hey, here's some tips and
Well,
playing in a casino.
I know this is probably controversial, and it's we're about to stop anyway. I never really liked speed tests, to be honest. I didn't think because they weren't like really dealing, because they were like a trick. There's ways to do
Yeah.
speed tests faster,
Oh,
where
yeah.
like throw them in your hand, and I'm like, well, that's not really dealing as you would deal. Like you can go, oh, like that guy. I've seen someone, and I'm like, oh my god, that was. I mean, it's really good. Don't get me wrong, but for me, it was like, well, I know, like it was very good, but for me, I never really liked them because maybe somebody didn't show me the tricks to do it, but as faster. But I was like, this isn't like dealing, so I never used to
Okay,
practice them too
yeah.
much.
So that's oh, man, I'm not gonna disagree with you there, but like you can tell when someone does that if they're like amazing or if they're not actually. Like I can see, because like if I look at a moveset and I'm like, okay, if I can mimic it, then it's okay. But if I can't mimic it, there's some moves there where you're just like, wow, this is incredible. Like it's not about the speed part, but it's actually about like the move set. When I look at somebody deal, like John, you did this thing when you cleaned up the 6s and 8s, and you'd snap, like you would snap all the 1s and you would stack the 5s, and it's like, tick, 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 and like you'd see it and you'd be like, wow, like that's different than like seeing someone else just kind of muddle their way through. And even if they're faster, I don't find that better. So
The trick was you had to go one way, especially when it was like dollars, like like this dollars, 5s and 25s. The trick with when you used to do it though is you have to go one. I have to remember, you have to go one way so you get all the 1s in one hand, and then you come back the other way to get the 5s, because you got 1s and 5s one way, and then you go back the other way and get the 5s, and then so when you finished, you got all the 5s in one hand and the quarters and the 1s in the other hand.
mhm.
You know how you snap them up, but
Yeah.
I used to do it because it was kind of like, like you can snap them off the top of a stack. It just kind of like escalated from that. I was like, oh, I got shown that trick. I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. How can I put that into dealing? That's how I always used to do. Is like, well, can I put this? This is a kind of a fun trick. How can I deal with it? And then I just started doing that, and I was like, oh, that's kind of fun. I like that. And at the time, nobody was doing it. I don't know if they are now. Maybe no one give a shit. But I used to do it, and I was like, okay, how can I do it? And then and just
I just don't see, but that's the thing. Like, I don't think
you should
anyone
like
can
make a
actually do
video
it.
of that because I want to see it.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I think the only time I could do it was just like 1 or 2 units on the 6 and 8, and I can only go on my left side going in. I can't do it on the other side. So like, yeah, that's
Even
already
John
a
should
thing.
like maybe like make like a video or like show it on the
Oh,
stream.
he will.
Yeah.
He will at some point.
See it.
it's been a while since I've dealt, so I'd have to actually do it. It was the same as throwing chips. I used to like yeah, I'd have to practice a lot. It's the same as like throwing them. I used to like throwing them and like into the cum and then and catching them. It was kind of like muscle memory, I suppose, rather than like place them and pass them. For me, I was just like, okay, I'd throw it and I'd catch it in my left hand and throw it out. I could even do it with my eyes closed. It's just, it was just like, okay, it's just like muscle memory. That used to kind of be fun. It's like, okay, I'll just pay these up with my eyes closed. How about that?
Actually, yeah. There's you gave me my idea for Friday, but not that. But I can like with John. So John had a stack of 5s and 1s, and he'd take the 5 and he'd slice the 1s, so he'd have $7 in his hand. Like he'd take 1 chip and slice the stack of 1s to get his 2 out. And that's-
Yeah, you just hit, you snap the, you'd hit the stack and the 2 would come out. So you hit it, catch 2, and you could throw it. It's just, to be honest, it was like donkey stuff. You'd live on an empty game. You're like, oh, this works. Oh, if I do that, oh, okay, poof. And then you just, something to do to kind of like break the monotony sometimes. I always said just like, it was, that's what I liked about the game. I was very creative and I worked with a lot of people who were okay with being creative on the game and they were creative themselves. So it was an outlet for a lot of creativity, right? So that's just how I really liked it.
Yeah, no, you were creative, and it's funny because like by the time like Mike and I got to like a games manager position, it's like, yeah, let's find some, you do some moves and stuff, and like we let everyone go freewheeling. So our game was nice. Like I had so much respect for the dealers. Like we let them go. It's like, do whatever. Here's a move, take it. And they were good. They worked well together, but I just don't think they were like at that level where they were just like, yeah, here, I learned this. This was new, right? You only learn so much from the people that you're with. And I mean, like, that's partially our fault because, like, you know, it gets diluted. We're like a watered down version down the road, right? Like, I show you some things, but that's not even like to the capacity of like what John was showing like a long time ago. So I only got this much, right? So if I get 60% of John, like the other 40 is like, it's gone.
Hey,
Someone
I'm,
else
I'm
has
not
it.
even 60. I'm not even 60% of what I used to be.
Okay, well, sorry. Okay, so any final kind of comments here? I know it's late. We kind of went over, but I mean, it's nice to have our kind of warm up. I know we talked a little bit about the podcast. I'm sure we're just going to be messaging each other the next few weeks about like what we're doing. So, guess galore. I'll say that.
No, this has been fun. It's been to be honest, it's been kind of a cool experience. To be honest, the whole 26 weeks of this, and it's great that Danny comes on all the time, and Mikey too. I mean, it's just I don't know, especially now because I think it's a break within the monotony, right? And it's kind of cool to kind of like connect. And Jay, you're doing amazing things, right, with this show. I mean, like I just kind of hang on. I just come on and I just talk shit, to be honest. And but yeah, I mean, it's really kind of cool. And
Yeah, we're all just here talking craps, and figuring it all out.
Well, no, seriously, I like trying new things, right? And it's just like I can't do this channel without you guys, obviously. So I totally appreciate when you guys come on and like this is a commitment. I know it's fun for the most part, but I know it's a commitment. So I really want us to get to the point where, like Danny, I give you like equipment and like you do a blackjack live stream. Like I want John to be like part of like a dice one because I just ordered these. Okay, there's nobody on, so it's okay. I ordered these boogie dice, so they're actually like they go by sound. So like someone like over there, like John, you can like actually roll the dice. You just like yell or something, and then they'll actually roll themselves.
that's so cool.
I think yeah. So like we do that with like a dice table. Like if I don't know, I'll just chop up one of our felts, and then like everyone has like a piece of it, and we can kind of just do two at once, right? It's not hard to. I just have like my phone, and I just have it overhead, and that's my dice table. This background here is like one felt, right? So for us to do like a craps live stream, I think it would be pretty fun. And just to,
really
just to hear your just to hear your banter, John, on stick. Oh my God, Danny, you're gonna learn so much. It's just crazy. So,
I'd love to.
yeah. The other thing is like we have guests. Like this season, it's like guest. There's 3 that can't even like they're in like Europe and like other places, so we have to like figure out another day to do it. So if it's like Sundays, I have to ask you guys if it's okay because of the time change, right? Like right now it's like 5 in the morning for them, so I don't think they can really, be on. But there's some really good people, like a Vegas showgirl is going to be on, and a really good dealer is going to be on, and a guy from like Hungary is going to be on. I can't believe how many people said like yes, so I've been pretty excited about this. A stunt girl, yeah, she worked at Palace. Yeah, and she's been on TV too, so she's gonna be on. And Arden,
And you're like,
Joe.
Arden. No.
Yeah, so I think like this season's gonna be really good with like the mix and stuff. I think like the only thing that's really killing us is like hockey games because I'm sure like everyone's kind of grumpy, so like a lot of them go to bed. The time's a little bit different. We started a little bit later, so. But I mean, like when we talk about this, I don't know, it's just about maybe having the schedule ahead of time, and then just like I'm excited to just be on an actual podcast. So, if I have to get everyone microphones, then I will, because like I want us to like have something that grows, and not just that. I've been getting some feedback too about like, hey, can you guys like talk about how not to be an idiot when I go into a casino, stuff like that, right? So. Maybe we have to a little more general when we talk to.
Was that from Daryl?
He already gave up on that, so yeah. but no, like I said, sorry, just circling back. I mean, thank you guys so much. I mean, it's just about growing. You know, I love doing this, like learning. Look at my background; it's different, right? So like trying new things out, and I'm hoping that we kind of when everything is said and done, we kind of do something live and we do something big. I think that's the ultimate plan in the end. So, and we can talk over drinks and like high five each other. That's where I'm hoping we get to. So,
To be honest, I'm really looking forward to actually going back, and at some point, I'm sure everybody will like, hey, let's go to a bar, and all the people that maybe who've watched this just to connect and to see each other and be like, hey, let's go and do it, and it'd be kind of fun. This is what I'm looking forward to. I mean, like I haven't seen a lot of the casino people for like some for decades, to be honest. So
I'm down to it.
Sorry?
I said when everything's open, I can come down to Edmonton. We can all grab a drink.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think for sure there will be a point where everybody from the casino, we should all go out and have a laugh and a few drinks.
Oh, I'll rent a craps table and we'll party it up on a craps table at some guy's bar. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I think it'll be.
Oh, that would be cool.
So, yeah. Okay. Well, guys, thank you so much for being on again. So have a great evening, and we'll see you for the premiere next week. So
Okay, see you later, guys. Have a good night.
Good night.
Thanks, guys.